Terp Nation, put on your dancing shoes because the madness is here. I'm Jared Belman.
And I'm Megan Smedley. My dancing shoes are on. Welcome to this week's edition of TLBTV. The Maryland women's basketball team's road to the Final Four begins. The Terps locked up a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Connor Newcomb and Max Marcilla were at the Xfinity Center on Monday to catch all of the excitement right after the announcement.
Thanks, guys. We're here at the Xfinity Center. Connor Newcomb, I'm Max Marcilla, where we just found out the Maryland Terrapins will have a number 3 seed in the NCAA tournament.
I've been waiting all weekend for this, just counting down the minutes. I mean, now we finally know who we can start preparing with the scout and just watching different games and just locking in now.
The Terps will face 14 seed Bucknell in the first round. They'll be in the Bridgeport region with 1 seed UConn, who is currently on a 107-game winning streak. The 2 seed will be Duke, led by former Terp Lexi Brown. The selection of the Terps as a 3 seed came as a surprise for Brenda Fries and her team.
It's disappointing given the body of work when you talk about winning 30 games and winning your regular season and your conference tournament. But, at this point of the season, it doesn't matter, what I think or if I'm disappointed, because it's not going to do any good when you talk about now you got to be able to back it up and just go play.
Putting your mind on just kind of one game at a time is important, and just realizing that we play teams like UConn and Louisville, good teams, and that we can keep doing that as long as we keep our minds right.
Connor, the first team Maryland will have to face is Bucknell, a team that is the 14th seed and won the Patriot League championship. What do the Terps have to play for?
Yeah, the Terps, if they can take care of business, should be able to get by Bucknell, but the big matchup before they get to the Sweet 16 possibly is a possible second-round matchup with 6-seeded West Virginia. The Mountaineers, we're looking at maybe an 8 or 9 seed, but ran through the Big 12 tournament, took down Baylor to win the Big 12 Conference Tournament Championship, and got a 6 seed, so that could be a tough matchup for the Terps in the second round.
It's a tough region for the bracket, one that the Terps will have to navigate. Make sure to follow the Left Bench and Connor for all coverage as the Terps go to pursue their first national championship since 2006. For the Left Bench TV, we're sending it back to the desk.
We now welcome basketball beat writer Justin Meyer to break down the Terps seeding. So, Justin, the Terps were given a 6 seed by the selection committee. What does that seeding say about how they performed this season?
Well, I think a lot of it had to do with the road wins. Maryland won a lot of games on the road, a lot of them against tough tournament teams. That's what bumped them up a seed line, I think. I think that alone was worth getting them from a 7 to a 6.
So a quick exit for Maryland in the Big Ten tournament. How do you think this is going to affect them as they head into the Big Dance?
Not really much. I mean, that was a different tournament. That's a different game. They're going to be playing a team in Xavier that they haven't seen yet and a team in Xavier that hasn't seen them. It's different playing a team in your conference that sees you throughout the year, has seen you for multiple years, and knows what you're doing. So I don't think they're very related.
And finally, what should Maryland fans realistically expect from the team this tournament?
Well, a 6 seed is expected to win 1 game and lose, but I think Maryland got a really favorable draw to get to the Sweet 16. Florida State is beatable. They've won a lot of really difficult games, but a lot of those were at home. They won't have that luxury in the tournament. I think Xavier is beatable. I think Maryland should be happy with what they were given.
Thanks, Justin. The 6-seeded Terps face Xavier this Thursday in Orlando. Despite Maryland's early exit in the Big Ten tournament, they still had plenty of supporters in D.C. Daniel Stein was at the Penn Social Bar to talk to some former Maryland students.
Go Terps!
This is just a mass engagement event, co-sponsored between the Alumni Association and the Terrapin Club Scholarship Fund, and kind of engage with us before the tournament tonight.
I got the email for the Maryland Alumni Meet Up, so I decided to come.
Instead of watching it at Looney's in College Park, we decided to come to DC and watch it.
We're a few blocks away from all the games and everything, so a ton of people here I think are going to leave and go to the game, but we'll be here, we'll be cheering on the Terps.
Mello, we like DeMonte too. We like all of them. I like Tony a lot, Anthony Cohen, Toet, and Kevin. Just all the starters.
It's just a great opportunity to come see, former classmates, former peers and the like.
Wallace Love.
And Wallace Love here as well.
He tries to make an appearance at any large event that we do. We like to keep it a surprise for the alums.
It's incredible. We got several hundred here, and it's great to see the Big Ten in the nation's capital.
It's a great venue for a pregame. I love it. It's not Bentley's. Nothing is Bentley's.
The floor's a lot less sticky, but I kind of miss the sticky floors.
Bentley's will always be true to my heart.
It's got a special place in my heart.
Exactly.
From the hardwood to the diamond, after starting the season 1-5, the Maryland baseball team is currently on an 8-game winning streak. Molly Hirsch was on hand for the team series this weekend against Bryant University and has the highlights.
The Terps had a slow start to this game as the Bulldogs started out strong defensively. After Bryant's first and only run of the game in the 4th inning, Maryland came back in the 6th inning when Watson hit an RBI single, bringing Costas home. Nickens then hit a sacrifice fly to center field, plating Gum. The Terps then dominated, scoring 3 runs in the 7th inning and 2 more in the 8th.
Molly now joins us live in studio to talk about this past weekend series. So Molly, how did the team look this weekend?
Well, Megan, the cold definitely did not faze the Terps this weekend. Maryland continued their winning streak, winning all 3 games against Bryant University. Pitching definitely looked great this weekend. All 3 starters, Schaefer, Bloom, and Blome, played for at least 6 innings, so they were really great. And offensively, Maryland struggled in the beginning and then really picked it up, scoring in the first innings of their next 2 games. So they looked really great.
So the team's won 8 games in a row. What would you say has been the key for them during this winning streak?
So I think definitely they've improved on their pitching, and that's been key for them. In the first 6 games of the season, they had an average of 9 runs scored against them per game, and that number has gone down to less than 3 runs during this 8-game winning streak. So pitching has definitely been phenomenal.
Thanks, Molly. Make sure to keep up with her and the rest of TLB's coverage this weekend when the Terps take on Princeton. 4 Maryland wrestlers have qualified for the NCAA championships. Billy Rappo will wrestle in the 133 weight class, Ryan Deal will be at 141, Alfred Bannister at 149, and Yusuf Hamida will compete in the heavyweight class.
We went to the Big Ten tournament, high expectations, even though we weren't on paper expected to do really well. The guys knew they were going to go out there and wrestle to their best potential, and we got 4 guys going. We want to get all 10, but 4 is better than 1, and we'll continue to build off of that.
Same thing as Big Tens, it's the same thing as Nationals, just another tournament, just leading into the way of being an All-American. Just going out there and wrestling and doing what I love to do.
Deal placed 5th at the Big Ten championships, the best finish for a Terp since joining the conference. Over at the field hockey and lacrosse complex, another Maryland team is enjoying a successful start to their season. Women's lacrosse is 6-0 after a big win over number 4 Syracuse. Megan Whittle and Megan Taylor, man, a lot of Megans in this show.
Great name.
Both of them had career days as the Terps rolled through Syracuse in a Final Four rematch. Whittle scored a career-high 7 goals, and Taylor stopped a personal best 18 shots. Callie Hartshorn added 4 goals as well, and the Terps are 6-0 for the 5th straight year. We now welcome in beat reporter Jay Cannon to talk about the team. So Jay, 38 goals for the Terps over their last 2 games. What's been the key behind this offensive explosion?
Well, Jared, I would point to the seasoned veterans here as a reason for the success recently. Zoe Stukenberg and then Caroline Wannen both combined for 17 points against Boston College on Wednesday. Both played well against Syracuse as well, but in the game against Syracuse, Megan Whittle, 8 points for her. It's really just the seasoned veterans that are getting it done, and everybody else feeds off of that. So when you have the familiar faces getting it going on the offensive end, it's just a really good thing, especially against a really good team like number 4 Syracuse.
And goalkeeper Megan Taylor had a career-high 18 saves against Syracuse. How has she been effective as one of the best defenders in the league?
Yeah, I mean, she's just been on a roll all season. 3 Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week awards already. She's in line for maybe another one coming up this week. So she's honestly one of the best in the country. Head coach Kathy Reese said so after the game. And her teammates give nothing but support for Megan Taylor. And she's just on quite a tear right now.
Well, thanks, Jay. The Maryland women's lacrosse team opens up their Big Ten schedule this Sunday against Johns Hopkins. Maryland softball was out in California this past weekend as part of the Highlander Classic. The Terps dropped 3 out of 4 games, their sole win against UC Riverside. The softball team finally opens up their home schedule this weekend after a month on the road.
After finishing the regular season with a 500 record, the gymnastics team will make the trip up to Rutgers for the Big Ten championships this weekend.
Boxing is one of the most rigorous sports in the world, requiring hours of training every day. Alex Flum met one Maryland boxer who is changing the face of the sport right here in College Park.
There are 2 women that compete for the Terps Boxing Club. One of them is Jocelyn Mercado.
Not just a female boxer, but just a boxer in general, male or female. It doesn't get any better than Jocelyn Mercado.
She practices 4 days each week.
It just gives me so much respect for myself because I never would have thought that I would have been able to do this until I got into it.
Jocelyn joined Terps Boxing Club at the beginning of her sophomore year. At first, she just wanted some good exercise, but eventually, she realized she wanted to compete, and she didn't let anything stop her.
Jocelyn says people off the team were wary of her boxing because she was a girl, but her teammates were not.
Everybody's been super accepting and welcoming, which kind of surprised me. I was expecting people to have that kind of attitude.
If you ask Jocelyn and Jeff, they'll tell you boxing isn't about gender.
Come here for 2 hours. Come run a practice, do the same thing the girls do. And I think they'd be pleasantly surprised.
Instead, it's about the work you're willing to put in.
Don't feel like it's not for you, because if you have the motivation and you want it, you can get there.
And believing in yourself.
Hey, don't let anyone tell you that you don't belong in the sport, because you do.
In College Park, for the Left Bench TV, I'm Alex Sloan.
Jocelyn just goes to show that boxing is not just for the guys. Her next competition is the U.S. Intercollegiate Boxing Association National Championships later this month. All right, Jared, have you perfected your March Madness brackets yet?
Perfected? Not even close. I mean, you can see it right here. Somehow I have Princeton in my Final Four. I do have the Maryland women going to the Final Four, though.
I have the Maryland women taking it all home, but I also have the men going to the Sweet 16.
That'll be it for us this episode of TLBTV. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at The Left Bench. I'm Jerry Belman.
And I'm Megan Smedley. Thanks for watching. Let the madness begin.